Now for some good news, bad news. Apparently, my videos are coming up as spam. So I apologize to anybody that's perceiving this to be spam. That's the bad news. I'm really, really sorry. The good news is apparently I'm coming across as spam in the news section where it's most discussed. That appears to be good news. So, um, what's really happening is the purpose of my channel is the world is big and bad. You know, if you're going to look for the news, you're going to look for all of the big bad stuff that's going on. At some point in time, we have to take a step back and see what's causing all of this big bad shit. And a lot of this big bad shit keeps going on because that's all we're focusing on is all the big bad shit. And while you focus on big bad shit, you create more big bad shit. My channel is about, okay, it's bad, let's take a step back, let's sort of be aware, this big awareness going on, and see what the hell it is we're doing. You know, let's change this around. Let's have a big wake up party and start to see that the causes have an effect. So, what are you causing that's creating the effects that are going on in the friggin' world? Now, some bad news. There's another oil rig that blew up. Bunch of people died. Big bad stuff. More bad news. Price of oil shot up again. Big bad news. The price of oil, you know, is going to make wealthy people even wealthy. Big bad news. So what's good about this? Well, we got to stop making oil. I watched one video of this guy that's reporting the news, you know, and saying maybe we should question whether we should be drilling for oil. And then at the end of his video, he says, well, if we're going to drill for oil, maybe we can do it safer. And it's like, what kind of insanity is that? Like, let's look at some causes. It's the cause, you know, are everybody driving oil driven cars that are driving us to support an oil industry that at some point in time we got to realize humanity doesn't want to do things safe. We want to do things cost effectively. It's all about the profit, not about your safety. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when you know we want to do things safe, we wouldn't be drilling for oil in the first place. When we want to do things smart, we won't be doing it with oil. So, you know, as long as you keep seeing that there's a need for oil, trust without a doubt, there's zero interest in doing anything safe. You need to wake up to that. That's the good news, is you need to wake up to that and stop driving your gas oil driven cars. Best way to do that, don't buy a new car. You know, if you got to drive, okay, we can't get away from that, you know, but drive used cars, because we are the purchasers. We are the consumers. Consumers demand what products we buy. If we stop buying new vehicles, then the auto industry will start making cars that don't run on oil. I mean, try and use some logic, okay? We're already seeing hybrid cars, and you know, they got to put a little bit of oil in there so that the only way you can use these hybrid cars is with oil. So that sustains the oil industry. If you can drive your car without, you know, most of it on a hybrid, and there are, you know, some guys that are into hybrid cars and they see how long they can go without using any gas, and guess what, they can be driven without gas if you drive it properly. Now if they designed it a little better, they don't even need any oil. I mean, there is more lost energy in driving a car than you can possibly imagine. I mean, how many times do those wheels go round and around and around? How much energy can you create out of just your tires going around and around? I mean, and then speed. You know, like you talk about your windmills. Well, how fast does your car run? Every time your car, you know, goes a certain speed, it can transform that speed energy into more energy. We just aren't designing anything properly and efficiently. But I happen to know there is free energy out there, but it's being suppressed. As soon as the government sees it, if you make a patent for it, then they, you know, get in touch with that and they make sure that it doesn't, it can't be unfolded. But it's consumer demand that will make these types of cars. You can even have a force field around your car. You know, we have the potential to make so much clean energy, but there's no need for it. Nobody wants it. As long as nobody wants it, nobody's going to be driven into that area. As long as we're going to keep looking and focusing on the big bad news that everything's really, really bad, that's where our focus is. We have zero focus on what's the solution. What direction should we take? So, you know, the good news is my channel is starting to be the most discussed in the news section, and that to me is good news, because my channel is not about focusing on the bad shit. It's focusing on alternatives. It's focused on how do we make a change. It's focused on let's look past our own noses and see that every action that we do has a cause and effect. And if you want to look at the way our world is turning out, trust without a doubt, you are the one that's creating it. Don't be looking at these elites, okay? You know, like, there's always going to be somebody there that's going to influence you to do something. We do this all the time. Every single one of us we influence each other. We brainwash each other. We try to get each other to believe the way we want to believe. You know, so look at these big bad guys as being the ones that have been manipulating you, being the ones that, you know, have brainwashed you, but you didn't get brainwashed into anything you didn't want. You wanted this. You wanted the lazy way, which is like this Venus project. Part of the problem I have with this Venus project, and they are targeting young kids, because what are they saying? Everything's going to be free. You know, you don't have to work. Computers are going to do all the work for you. You know, you want to design your world so you're friggin' lazy and can get a technology to do all the work for you. And what that does is take away all your opportunity to have a purpose in life. Your purpose in life is not to sit on a freaking couch and do nothing. You know, trust me, friggin' welfare. No money to do anything. If you sat around and had nothing to do, you'd be bored as shit. You know, you need to have something that gets you up in the morning. You need to have something that makes you feel like you have a purpose. Okay, most of the jobs you're doing, you don't really like, you know, so don't do the jobs you don't like. Find out what you're passionate about. Find out what you absolutely love doing. And then find a way to get paid for doing that. And we need to trust each other that our passions are what going to clean the planet up. But we have to be supportive of each other, because what you do, you may not see that it could do a little harm to the planet, but there's somebody else out there that says, hey, I can see how that hurts the planet, so maybe just sort of make a little tweak in what it is you're doing so that it's perfectly acceptable with the rest of the planet. You know, some people have a passion to earn money off of oil, but there's somebody out there that's going to say that ain't exactly good for us. So it's not necessarily that your passion to drill for oil is you know, bad thing. It's that you will find your purpose by listening to somebody else's complaints as to how that has a cause and effect that will destroy the freaking planet. So we do need to be tied with everybody else, because sometimes you can't see behind, you know, in front of your nose. The world cannot be free for everybody at all times. I mean, just think about that. If everybody, you know, wanted to have a piece of gold and gold was limited, then, you know, it obviously isn't going to be free for everybody. You know, if everybody liked apples and wanted to eat apples all at the same time, you know, then you got too much focus on one thing. You know, we're diverse, you know, and we got to be supportive of each other. So there's the good news is People are starting to wake up to this. People are starting to see that, what I do may not be good for the planet. And it's time to start waking up to that. It's starting to communicate with each other. It's time to listen to everybody's complaints, because all of our complaints are pointing us in the direction. But we hear people complaining and say, "Oh, you're nothing but a complainer." No, somebody's trying to point you in the right direction. Something's wrong. Something has, the causes are creating a lot of problems. And you know what? The good news about all of this is when we wake up to this, your lifespan's going to get a lot longer. You're going to live a lot longer. You're going to be a lot healthier. If everybody's concerned about healthcare, guess what? It's our environment. It's our focus on the big bad shit that's creating you to be sick. But if we started doing everything that's right, you won't be getting sick. That's kind of the new healthcare. So, then there's this thing of aging, like, okay, if you don't get sick and we create our world to be really, really safe, then the only thing that'll kill you is age. No. You know what we got to do? We got to make life enjoyable. There's a new concept. Making life enjoyable so that you get up every day, you're passionate about your day, you're excited about your day, you're looking forward to your day, you can't wait for your day to get started, is the kind of world that we need to create. It's not about, oh my God, I got to go to work. No, it's about loving what you do for work. And that's the shift that we're going to make. You got to find what you're passionate about and trust without a doubt your passions are what's going to stimulate a new economic system. But the thing is you got to find something that you love doing and you would do it for free. Like me, I'm doing what I love, I'm doing it for free, and I'm trusting without a doubt eventually this will sustain me better than being on a friggin' welfare system. And that's where we're at right now. If you want to focus on the big bad, like life is really shit, there's nothing you can do about it, well, you're going to create everybody to live on a welfare system. It didn't just happen to me, it's going to happen to everybody. And when it happens to everybody, guess what? My paycheck's gone, everybody else's paycheck's gone. I kind of see this train coming. I know I have, this isn't going to last too long, which is putting the drive out there, is that I got to do something I love doing, because the end of my days on this system is going to be over, and it's going to be over for everybody else. There are no free rides, but there is a ride that can be enjoyable. There is a ride that you can love doing, but it's in you. It's your purpose. It's the reason you're on the planet. Good news. Peace out.